Hey, this is George from Disciples of Verity, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
I had to take over, hit and record because Kris was forgetting all the time and we were missing every freaking interview.
Oh, yeah, well, see? It's like you guys are in a metal band.
Right.
Somebody's got to forget something or it's not metal.
Right. Kris, you want to leave?
My snare.
Yeah. See if I can turn this up a little bit. Got some classical music playing in the background for the cats.
Nice.
Nice.
Alexa, stop. All right, here we go.
Yes.
Alexa's so obedient.
Yeah, it is. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The only woman you're going to get that kind of response out of. You know?
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so how are you doing, man? You doing all right?
All right, yeah, I'm just getting some dirty looks over there for me.
Yeah.
You know.
There's going to be shit flying across the room at you here in a second.
Like, what? Hey. Anyway.
Kris, you want to take the lead?
No, go ahead, Bruce.
So this is your, I guess, the continuation of Disciples of Verity. You had some stuff out just before the pandemic, right?
Yeah, I mean, we released some singles. We really never released a full record yet.
Right.
I wouldn't say before the pandemic, although, yes, I guess there was one single that was done before the pandemic. I believe that was Worthy. And let's just clarify what's before the pandemic. You know,
I guess
2019, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we released one. Oh God, I can't even remember. I feel like, as everybody that, we lost an entire year here. So it's, timelines are a little rough the past year and a half,
Right.
But I want to say it was like November-ish, I think, of 19. We released Worthy. That one featured Jeff Loomis on guitar.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was before that. And then now we've released 5 other singles across the. I mean, we do have plans on releasing a full record. I think either sometime in December or January's first week of January. I don't think any later than the first week of January. And you know what? We put 2 new tracks on it, so it's kind of like a re-release or let's say a bonus release. We did have like a CD release party for like hard copies and stuff like that, which with 8 tracks on it. So I mean, people who came to the live shows. Let's face it, guys. I mean, everything's been so screwed up, You want to release music, you want to give it to everybody, Unfortunately, we came out at a time with all these, travesties going on, civil unrest and pandemic and the presidency and like, let's not fucking lie. It's a shit show,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. So that being said, it's really tough to get anybody to pay attention to music. Nobody's paying attention to music.
Right.
I mean, you want to look at your news feed, but it ain't for music. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
You want to look at the headlines and all the videos, but nobody's looking at music or listening to that. So real shit time for us to be coming out. It seems to be the story of my life, but I guess.
So how did you guys end up coming together as a band?
Well, you know what? I'm the catalyst for it all. Those guys will curse me out and say that it's my fault, but they do love it. I think so. I started writing some music. I had really nothing planned for a band wise. I was just kind of doing it on my own at this point. You know what I mean? Being a disgruntled band member in a few other bands. So I put some music together, and Corey and I were in NAMM in January. So the reason why I state what month it would be in NAMM is because it was snowed out over here. We got stuck in an Airbnb for, quite a few days after our flights were originally supposed to be scheduled.
Right.
So, we got to spend some quality time to take this endeavor on. At first, it was just supposed to be one song. I was like, "Hey, Corey, would you mind singing on one song?" And he was like, "Hell yeah!" He loved it, and so he just kept coming back. Man, I don't know why he kept coming back, but I had music for music. He just kept coming back. So we turned it into a record, and then it was like, "Hey, you know what? Let's turn this into a band." And then we started recruiting some players early on when some stuff was being written, and Corey Pierce of God Forbid was one of them. I had worked with him on a previous record with my other band, Negative Sky, which he was a co-producer on. So, naturally, I him and I, hit it off as the rhythm section there. Me working with him in the studio, and it just was a natural progression, that him and I did it. And then he came in and started writing some songs with me and, helped me out, arrange some things. And, it's just taken off after that, and now I guess it's a viable band at this point. So we're going to continuing on.
One thing that I find super cool is that the music has almost no, I don't know how to say this. It doesn't feel like it's made by people that used to play music in the 80s. It feels like it's made by people that are like 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Sure. I mean, look, it's definitely done on purpose, right?
Yeah.
I think I gravitate more towards a lot of newer music. As a songwriter, I wrote, a great portion of this music, probably 90% of it, I would say. So I gravitate towards a lot of newer bands, and I wanted to put something together that, because I feel like there's some things lacking in some newer bands, with this type of music. It's in a extended range 7-string drop G sharp, which is, you'll hear a lot of extended range guitars these days, obviously. So, I mean, I felt like there's a lot of things lacking in some singers and musicality today. And that's, and I don't want to say this to sound like a jerk because, everybody has talent in what they're doing in that specific way. But, like a lot of it's more geared towards, and this was my view and my view only, and my opinion only, obviously. So my intention was to write more of a deathcore sounding music, and put a singer over it that sings and doesn't scream, but maybe sings, completely different than that genre,
Right.
So I wanted to put a puzzle together, per se, to be different, but have some of those same, musicality aspects that they bring into, like, say, a deathcore or like bands like Meshuggah,
Yeah.
and bands like I don't know, Fit for a King, Fit for an Autopsy. We'll just put all the fits in there.
Right.
Maybe
Even a little bit of Whitechapel, maybe.
Maybe some Whitechapel in there too. Yes, correct. So I wanted to put that type of music or that kind of musicality where it is a little genty. It is, time signatures are different and stuff like that. And I wanted to make it interesting musically in that aspect with that, deeper tone. And, I just pictured Corey fitting over this.
Right.
Like so well. And he has,
and then you bring, right.
Which
and then,
talent would, right?
But then you bring Corey Pearson, who's an old friend of mine, and he was actually one of the first ones did my cooking show 11 years ago or something. But you bring him in from God Forbid, and he brings a certain standard of drumming as well to the table, and it makes it something quite special.
Absolutely. The guy's like, he's like a walking metronome, and his timing is impeccable, and he's got some, it's kind of brings a little bit of that thrash style and that, God Forbid thrash style to it, which you know, all aspects. You know, I don't come from that background either of thrash. So I feel like all three together really lend well to one another, you know, in a you know, maybe a style of its own, which I, you know, again, I'm not a critic, so
Right.
I'm not going to tell you what style.
I think it definitely separates it from everything else for sure because of that.
My complete intention, you know, but whether it translates that way, it's not really up to me. You know, I don't want to put labels on things because, you know, I think once you start doing that, you know, you may pigeonhole yourself into something. And I hate putting, you know, when they ask me, you know, well, what's your music like? Or, you know, what is your band? What do you think you guys sound like? It's I really don't know. That's not up to me. It's up to you.
Right.
Yeah, we sound like heavy metal with killer musicians.
It's a metal, hard rock, metal style, you know, you can say whatever you want about it. You know, I wanted to make sure that we had solos in there and talented solos. And, you know, we got some talented players on the record. You know, it's got Phil Demo from Machine Head, or, you know, Violence now, and ex Machine Head. And we got Tara McLeod from Kitty, ex Kitty. And, you know, Morgan Rose plays a track on there from Seven Dust. And, you know, Joe Guerreri, who's like a solo guy from Ernie Ball, you know, and my old guitar player, JJ, who plays on it from Negative Sky. All complete, you know, awesome players. And then, you know, Zach, our guitar player, Zach Morano, now here, he's a super talented guy too. So this, you know, I wanted to keep that aspect too, because I feel like, you know, some of those, you know, people too, they like, you know, to me, solos are a very important part of a song. You know?
I agree.
You know, it not only shows talent, but, you know, the musicality and the break, and, you know, bringing you to a bridge that brings you to a separate place. You know, if I'm going off subject here, let me know. But,
no. Go ahead, Bruce.
I was going to say, I agree with you on the solo thing, and I missed that from, you know, the 80s or my era, whatever, and I missed that. But also, I think it got to the point where it was almost like instrumental masturbation, where it got too long, right? So you have to figure out a spot that is right.
Agreed.
You don't want to hear somebody showing off their Berkeley skills all day long in one song.
100%. I mean, I feel like some bands do that, and I won't name bands because
no.
You know, get mad at me. But yeah, bands do that. I mean, sometimes I find myself, Bruce, writing a 5 to 6 minute song, and then I sit back and I go, you know what? I got to just trim the fat down. This is just way too long, you know.
Right.
But even I don't want to say, you know, okay, I got to, you know, stick to the Billy Joel. Let's cut it down to 305, you know. But and I don't, you know. So, but I do try to cut fat, you know what I mean, with too long, because, you know, people get bored, man. You know,
especially nowadays,
like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
What was that O-Town Road that became Super Gold? What was that, a minute and 35 seconds or something? Like? Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing Napalm Death on 70,000 Tons of Metal, and he was like, "We're gonna play our longest song," and it was like 5 seconds long.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, those guys were hilarious.
You know who was good for that? What was that? SOD or MOD.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have a question. You guys are all such skilled musicians. Like, you're tenured. You've all toured. You've all, like, you know what you're doing. So when you're prepping for a show, how much time goes into rehearsal together as opposed to just preparing for the show at home?
Now, this is a trick question here, because if I answer it wrong, it could sound wrong.
Oh.
You see, if I tell you we don't really rehearse, then we'd sound like we're lazy.
No, I don't think so.
But then it sounds like we're not too good.
No, I think it sounds like you've achieved a certain level of skill, right, and experience.
Oh yeah,
true. See, I want to say everything's different. Like, you know, the band, I would say we try to get together a little bit more. You know, I mean, we just played a couple dates, and, you know, let's say Most important is that I want to say that we're all from the school nowadays, because we do have travel between us. We're not all close to one another. We're not all in 20 minutes or, went to the same high school and we could go to the local thing. So, Corey's got to drive 2 hours. The other Corey's probably an hour and a half away. He's got to take a couple trains, and Mark is way down South Jersey. He's an hour away from me. You know what I'm saying? So we're all, probably an hour and a half to 2 hours away from getting together. So that being said, I think we're all of the school at this point that practice is for home and rehearsal is for when you're doing something.
Yes.
So if you have to rehearse, that means you're going to have a show or a string of shows or a tour coming up, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to say that we don't rehearse 3 days a week, but we may do 5 rehearsals before a show or 3 rehearsals before a show, at least, before the show. And then, once you get that first one under your belt in a tour, you're working out the bugs. By the third one, you got it all handled, I would say.
Well, but, that was kind of my question, because, like, I know a lot of bands, they're like, why would we rehearse? I already know the song. We just show up and play the song.
Correct. Some people do that. I mean, my old band, Negative Sky, or I don't want to say my old band because I still play with those guys once in a while. We don't rehearse at all.
Yeah. If you know the material, why do you have to rehearse?
You don't. Like I said, rehearsal is for a show.
Yeah, exactly.
And you may want to put different aspects into a show than you did on the last show or the last tour. We're going to add some, whatever, some segues here and there. You know what I mean? Our set list is going to be this. We're going to play this one back to back. We're going to put a segue in here. We're going to say these certain things and do these certain things, whatever. So that's rehearsal. You should practice at home, and you should have your material completely practiced at home. By the time you come to rehearsal, you should know it.
Be balls
Absolutely.
on. Right.
Yeah. If you don't, there's bigger issues, right?
Yeah, there certainly is. What am I supposed to play here again? We play in 2 hours.
Right.
Don't ask me. If you ask me, we're going to have a problem.
Oh, George.
Yeah, I'm back. That's cool. It was just battery going low there. I should plug it in.
What was it like being on the road after being sidelined for so long?
I'll tell you what, the first show I played out of the pandemic, wow, man, it was like such a relief because I really wasn't sure how people were going to react to it, and not the music. I meant to the pandemic. Is everybody going to treat you like, you got cooties and they don't want to touch you? Or, are people going to, be excited about going back to shows again? Right. And what the response that I found was that 90% of the people were just so happy to get back to, to the music. And the first couple shows were sold out. So it's, you know what I mean? So I want to say that I was just so happy to get back on stage. I mean, it's a depressing thing for everybody. I mean, you guys probably had to deal with some of that on your own. You lock yourself in your house, and you're spending your birthday there, and your Christmas, and your vacation. The stuff that you're doing, you just don't do now. So I mean, I was elated to get back out. And I feel like everybody was, and the energy was there. So, yeah, that's how.
What a feeling! I that must have been an amazing feeling, but also kind of scary at the same time. Like when you first got on stage, you must have been a little bit like, "Holy shit, this is happening."
Yeah,
any nerves?
Look, for me personally, and I can only speak for me. Like, if I don't get nervous, I'm going to quit music.
Fair enough.
It's kind of like, let's say, do you guys go skiing or anything like that?
No, but I get the thing. I get your analogy. Yeah.
Just when you're about to jump off the mountain into the water or that bungee jump, you get that butterfly feeling in your stomach, and you know, I gotta have that. Makes me feel alive. You know?
Man. Absolutely.
If I didn't feel that, I probably wouldn't do it. It'd probably feel like a job.
Right. And then you just do something else.
Correct. Probably something
where you can make a lot more money, right? Right.
Exactly.
Wait, you mean there's not millions of dollars in the music business anymore?
All right. I'll tell this secretly on your podcast. No.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Yep.
Here first. There's not millions of dollars in the music business right now. Yeah. That's
at
funny.
least not in the music where it matters.
I'll walk out with a stack of cash like this, and I walk home with a stack of cash like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a meme once. How do you make a man lose $5,000? You give him $5,000 and send him to Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely make them lose. Yeah. I do like expensive guitars myself. So.
What are you playing right now?
I'm currently playing Spectre. I play Spectre bases. I'm endorsed by Spectre. Thank you, Spectre. And so, you know, I got a couple real expensive Spectre, including a handcrafted American made with actually the inlays or pearl inlays that say Disciples of Verity on the
oh wow,
really
they
nice.
talk for me, which is just can't thank them enough. It's
what pickups do you have in there?
I use EMGXs.
Oh cool, so bright and gnarly.
They are. And I also have the dark glass preamp in it, which gives it that growl.
I love that thing.
We're familiar with so you are familiar with the dark glass?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm a recording mix engineer. That's what I do.
Oh, awesome.
I actually use the Neural DSP. They have the dark glass plugin.
Sure.
And then they also have the they have a bass plugin, and I can't remember the name of it, but I use it all the time. Parallax.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my go-to right there.
Parallax.
Parallel X. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love so
that.
Good.
I love the DSP stuff. I've been using them actually. So since you're a recording nerd like me,
he is.
Because I am a complete recording nerd. Secret. Ready?
Yeah.
You hear first. Need a single amp on this fucking record.
Good.
That's his thing.
I love it.
Neural DSP.
Which one were you using? Granifier?
No, I mean, I think there is some of the Gojira plugin on it.
Oh God, what a plugin!
See, I got 3 of them on there. What is the Fortin?
Oh yeah.
I got the Fortin one, and so all these companies I'm plugging, I will expect a check. You want my address? Just DM me. So I'm using the Parallel X for the bass. I use the Neural DSP stuff for the guitars as well. It's all Neural DSP, right?
Yeah.
So
that Gojira plugin for me was like a major step up in amp simulation quality. I just couldn't. The first time I turned it on, I was just like, "What the hell am I listening to?"
I agree with you. I can't agree with you anymore. That was a game fucking changer.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, it's got to be for many musicians and many people who use it, because I got to tell you guys that I must have had every single goddamn guitar simulator plugin that they make on the fucking market.
Yeah.
And nothing touches that, in my opinion.
No, you know? not even close.
I'm still not getting a check from them.
My amp sim list is about this big. You know, it's like I probably have 50 or 60 different versions of plugins, you know, from amplitude to STL tones to everything.
Yep.
And the only thing I use is Gojira. That's it.
You don't need nothing else at this point.
No.
Unless, of course, maybe they want to make a plug-in section with my name on it or something.
I feel like this is an infomercial for George.
Yeah.
It should be.
I'm really not trying to plug all these companies.
Yeah. So are you using Pro Tools or what are you using?
I use Pro Tools, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I love Pro Tools.
Yeah. Here's another funny fact, right? So when I started recording this record, before I recorded this record, because I did record it all too, this is the first record I've ever recorded.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Where did you cut the drums?
We did those in 3 different locations, believe it or not. We did them with Eric Rachel in New Jersey, and then we did it at this other studio in North Jersey. Gosh, I wish I remembered the guy's name. Sorry, guy.
That's okay.
And then with this other producer, engineer that I worked with in South Jersey, Charlie Berezanski, who does a lot of the stuff for me. He mixes for me. And, I've been working with him on a lot of material because I do other stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And, Charlie's my dude. So he's at Rival Sound Studios in South Jersey.
Nice.
He's a close friend. He's also in that band Vexes. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No,
cool.
not familiar. Anything else, Chris?
No, I could go tech talk all day, but
Yes, we could. We could hear that all day, Chris.
Oh my God, I'm such a geek. Like,
me too, bro.
Man, I just went off on plugins over the pandemic because I was like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, me being a fat kid with cake.
Yeah.
Nice. What's next for Disciples of Verity? What do you have on the docket?
Well, I mean, we might do a couple like small little runs in November, but we're going back out in January. I know we're doing the 14th through the 23rd right now. We have some makeup dates that we had to make up, unfortunately, due to some scheduling conflicts with Living Color. So we had to make up a few dates. So that right now is on the docket for January 13th through the 24th or 14th through the 23rd. One of those two. Anyway, we're going to play, I think we got to play Saginaw, Michigan and Westland, Michigan and Bradley, Illinois. And we're going to play.
Cold as hell.
Right?
January in the Midwest.
Thanks for fucking reminding me, Bruce.
Hey, it's colder than that? Touring Canada in January.
Yeah.
He's got that in February.
That is. When they show up to the shows with a snowmobile, those dudes are hardcore up there.
Nice.
And they got a cold beer. Like, hey, little cold.
Yep.
God bless him.
Enough.
All right. That's it, Chris.
I don't have anything else, man. I really appreciate you taking the time with us today. It was an honor to chat with you, especially because we got to talk geek talk for a bit. Bruce usually clamps down on that with me.
Does he?
Or I get up and leave and come back, or
Yeah, I don't blame you, Bruce. I apologize for taking up that kind of valuable time.
Thank you, my friend.
I'll share one more thing tech with you. I don't know if you used this plugin before. It's the TSE BOD. It's a model of the Boss bass distortion pedal.
Okay.
And it's totally free, and it's the best. Like, Parallax is great if you really want it grindy, but the Boss one gives you that nice overdrive. It's really good.
The BOD one?
Yeah, TSE. It's a free plugin. If you just search up TSE.
I have the TSE plugin.
You do?
I don't have the Boss pedal one. You know which one I got? Is the Tube Screamer.
Oh, yeah.
From TSE.
It's also good.
What do they call it? The Green Machine or the Green Overdrive or some shit like that?
I can't remember.
It's the Tube one.
Yeah, but
that one sounds great. That was actually the first one that I was like dialing in with a couple of other cab sims, you know, at TSC. All right, I'll check that out though.
It's a great plugin. I've been getting the best bass tones of my life with that thing. It's so good.
I feel the same way with the Parallel X though. I feel like
I feel that too.
You got the new version of the Parallel X because they just came out with one.
Yeah, they kind of had a mess up with that one because the first release it screwed up a bunch of stuff, but they fixed it now and it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Nice. Got the tuner on it now, which is to me another game changer.
Yeah, it's nice. Hey, what an idea! Let's tune.
On there, the rest of the plugins do. Yeah. It took them a while to get that one.
Yeah. All right, man.
Time any longer.
Thank you so much
for taking the time and making it work. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
And keep us updated with shows and stuff so we can share it whenever they happen.
No doubt.
All right,
got it.
Be well. Right. We'll see you soon.
You too,
Thanks.
bro.
Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.